You've built everything by the book. Your pitch is polished, the website design is immaculate, and behind it all, you actually have a genuinely solid service that delivers results. Yet the people you're trying to reach are quietly slipping away without buying in. The problem usually starts with how we view our marketing. We tend to treat our bios, our various landing pages, and social media feeds as completely separate islands, obsessing over each one until it looks flawless in a vacuum. But modern consumers don't process information that way. They aren't grading your individual posts or web pages. They are unconsciously scanning your entire business ecosystem all at once. Obsessing over the individual pieces leads you into a trap, because an audience doesn't build trust on isolated pretty parts. They build it on the structural cohesion of the whole machine. When a system breaks down, we have to look past the surface to see what actually failed. A personal brand rarely collapses because of a massive public scandal or a terrible product. It starves from a cascade of invisible, systemic micro-failures that quietly erode consumer trust over time. It turns out this specific type of breakdown follows a strict, predictable pattern. It's the exact same pattern investigators look for when analyzing failures in aviation and healthcare risk management. To figure out why an audience is leaving, we have to stop thinking like marketers and start evaluating our brands like risk assessors, looking for structural vulnerabilities. In complex, high-stakes environments, engineers don't rely on a single wall to keep things safe. They build defenses using multiple, overlapping layers. They use a framework known as the Swiss cheese model of system failure. You set up consecutive upright defense layers, but no layer is perfect. Each has inherent weaknesses. Systems stay secure when these gaps are staggered. Threats slip through one wall that are blocked. Catastrophic failure only happens when multiple holes perfectly align. A complete collapse rarely requires one giant error. It only takes the precise, unlucky alignment of multiple minor flaws. We can map this exact logic directly onto how you communicate your business. Your brand's layers are your website, social media, bio, and operations. A gap opens if your bio skips real struggles, another if your people-first sales copy is cold, and another if your website contradicts your social media. Misaligned, audience trust drops straight through. Consumers will easily forgive a single isolated gap in your story, but when multiple gaps align across your platforms, it creates a systemic sense of inauthenticity that drives the audience away permanently. So how do we close these gaps and break this trajectory? We start with platform alignment. Audit your brand and ensure that your core narrative tone is identical across every digital and physical touchpoint. Next, include the full arc. Introduce deliberate vulnerability by showing moments of past failure and growth. That specific reality plugs the credibility gap. Finally, commit to evolution. Regularly update these narrative layers so they accurately reflect the real-time state of your business. When you do this, all those disparate, raw pieces of your history and messaging lock together tightly to create structural strength. The goal of business storytelling is never to construct a flawless, impenetrable wall with zero holes. Your brand does not need a perfect story. It simply needs a true and aligned one. When your narrative layers reinforce each other, your imperfections and past failures actually become the load-bearing strengths of your brand.